We're out for dinner and we ask the clients, when dad is gone and I am now running this firm, this is in 2007, what is something that dad created since 1968 that you would want to make sure that never changed when I end up taking over the firm? And the expression that came out of that was,
Hey, Marc, welcome to the show.
thanks for having me, Joe. Really appreciate it.
You've been at this a minute. You didn't start yesterday. Can you kind of tell me about your start and how it got you to where you are today and how you serve the community?
Yeah, sure. I've actually been doing this 33 years. Hard to believe it's been that long. My father started our firm back in 1968.
Wow.
My dad was actually one of the original certified financial planners in this country. I think he was in the second graduating class of certified financial planners. So our firm has a long history on putting financial planning first and always. Dad retired in '07. I joined the firm in 1991. He mentored me, and the rest is history. We've just continued to grow the firm.
Wow. So it's in your blood, and you've seen so many changes over the years. Kind of where are you today in terms of how you think you can better serve your clients than you were maybe even 5, 10 years ago?
Well, it's funny. We were in a staff meeting earlier today, and we had talked about how the fact we were a financial planning firm, like I said, a financial planning firm always. But some 25 years ago, we had about $50 million under management. We had about 400 clients and 6 employees. Today, we have $850 million under management. We have 625 households, but we still have six staff members.
Wow, that's
So we've
amazing.
created, so the world has become more efficient. In the world years ago, you used to write a trade ticket. You used to do all the paperwork is by hand. Everything is efficient now. And we have created tremendous efficiencies to better serve our clients and provide financial planning advice to them rather than just get bogged down in investment guidance. It's much bigger picture now.
Wow, that's fantastic. I'm sure great for you, great for your clients as well. One thing that stuck out on your website, there's a line that it says this, says financial advice in a language you can understand. And I just love that as a guy that's maybe not as financially literate as I can. And sometimes it feels like going to the doctor or the mechanic that it's a different language. Tell me about that line and why it's important to you guys.
Yeah, we created that line. We realized we were doing it on and over and again. And I used to have a radio show for about 14 years. And we realized we were saying it more and more often. And we trademarked the expression actually, simply because when you watch any of the news stations, whether it's CNBC or Bloomberg, or actually just go to any seminar, any type of financial services program, people try talking over your heads. They use acronyms, they use these big names, they use alpha, beta, standard deviation, all these things, which make absolutely no sense from the perspective of the client. All they want to talk about is real money issues.
Yeah.
And what we try to do is really try to have a conversation, explain financial planning concepts in a language everybody can understand. And we generally use analogies and metaphors to help people understand what this really means. Because look, I don't care how much money you have, whether you have a lot of money or not much money, everybody uses money and everybody spends money. Everybody tries to earn money, of course, but the impact that money has on our lives and how it affects our relationships and how we do things with our money is different for everybody. And we need to try to find some stories that combine it all together so people understand what they're doing.
It's great. And kind of related to that, another line that's on your website is it just says this, two sentences. First sentence is we care. Second sentence, deeply. So just we care deeply. And I'm sure with your small team, it's that caring that really it makes a difference. Tell me more about that aspect of
So,
it.
so let me tell you where that line came from. For years, almost 20 years, we had what was called a client advisory council. We would ask 12 of our clients and their spouses to join us for dinner a couple times a year to just give us some insights about what they're seeing. What is it that we're doing that's working for them? What is it that they think we could improve ourselves on? And what are they hearing from their friends, neighbors, and relatives who might use financial advisors that they're finding success with so we could continue to be better? And during one of those meetings, it was the year in which my father was about to announce his retirement. So dad had been doing this since 1968. I was about to take over the firm in 2007. We're out for dinner and we asked the clients, when dad is gone and I am now running this firm, this is in 2007, What is something that dad created since 1968 that you would want to make sure that never changed when I end up taking over the firm? And the expression that came out of that was, you care deeply. And
Wow.
so that is what mattered. Because, yes, we go over and above. Everyone uses the word over and above, but we help people with all aspects of their financial life, whether it's helping them figure out, should they buy or lease a car? Should they move into a retirement community? What should they do with their homeowners and automobile insurance? Are they having the right taxes withheld from their pay stubs or paying too much in their taxes? Now, we don't do taxes. I don't write estate planning documents. I don't even sell automobile or homeowners insurance. But all of that is part of financial planning, just like trying to decide, when should I take Social Security? When do I sign up for Medicare? Those are things that I'm not making money on, if you will, if you say, I'm not selling that. But those are components of financial advice that everybody needs to understand in a language they can understand.
Wow, that's great. So a little bit like an on-call financial coach, it sounds like a little
That's,
bit that.
look, I look at it from the perspective of, we are a certified financial planner. And many people will ask us the question, Mark, are you a fiduciary? That's a term that's used a lot in our business. And I will tell you, a lot of advisors will answer the question, yes, I'm a fiduciary. And yes, I'm a fiduciary. And so, should that be a good enough answer to the client? And oftentimes people just move on. The client says, oh, he said yes, it must be okay. So I say to them, well, how do you believe, what do you believe a fiduciary should do for you? And they might say, well, I've heard that a fiduciary places my interests first. And I said, you're absolutely right. But what does that mean? And everybody will have a different answer to that question. But my thought and the perspective that we take is to put your interests first. I need to know where everything is and what everything is worth before I ever offer a single recommendation to you. So if you said to me, Mark, I have a $500,000 that's coming from an old 401k plan that I need to roll over and do something with, I go, that's great. We can help you with that. But let's make sure that we understand everything else in your financial life, because I don't want this decision to impact everything else without knowing what's going on.
Wow, totally makes sense. And related to that is in terms of like, who is your client? Like who, and I don't want to box you in too much, but who's a great client that one of your clients meets someone and says, you got to talk to Mark in Friedman Financial. Like, who is that? What's that type of client look like?
Yeah, well, actually, we defined that client many years ago. In fact, I've written a couple books. One is called Oversold and Underserved, a financial planner's guidebook to serving the mass affluent baby boomer. And maybe you've heard that term or not, but for whatever reason, I think I got nailed or whatever as the person that came up with that term, mass affluent baby boomer. I'm not owning that. Someone else probably came up with it and I heard it and used it. But to us, that's who we serve, the mass affluent baby boomer. Let me define them for you. Generally, they are a married couple. They've been living in their home for 20 years or more. They've got good relationships with their kids. They've never held more than a middle management to upper middle management position. They earn as a household somewhere around $150,000 to $400,000. That's their earnings. When they choose to retire, they're going to want to spend somewhere around $8,000 to $20,000 a month. Social Security will represent about 30% of the income that they need. So they need to rely on their investment accounts, their 401k, their investments, maybe part-time income, etc., to support themselves in retirement. And by the way, are they charitably inclined? Charity to them is their family. Something that's kind of different here in New England. We always hear about giving money to charity. Yeah, they give money to charity. Maybe there's $100 here and $200 here. But if you live down in the Bible Belt means giving 10% of your income to charity. It's called tithing. That doesn't happen here. Charity goes to the kids.
Right.
That's who my client is. And 90% of our clients live or had roots within a 10-mile radius of our office here in Peabody. And you might ask, Mark, where's your office in Peabody? Well, I thought we were doing a good job by 7 years ago working in this building when we put our name on the building, but people don't see the name on the building. But everybody knows, if you're from the area, where Daniela's Restaurante is in Peabody. They're on the first floor. I got the second floor.
I looked at it on Google Maps. Beautiful building, by the
Oh,
way.
it's great. It's a brand new
You know,
building.
over by the North Shore Plaza, right?
Right. I'm overlooking, I'm staring at Macy's as I look out my window.
Gotcha. Oh, so easy for people to find you.
Right.
Uh, we went over a lot of why clients ultimately choose you, that you care more deeply and the way that you approach this. But ultimately, they have a lot of folks to choose from. Why do you think that a typical client actually goes, you know what, Mark, I'm going with you guys? Why is
Well,
it?
Yeah, it is funny. Fortunately, we built such a nice practice where when clients come to us and we tell them our story about how we work, they generally agree to do business with us. I rarely find myself in competitive situations because the breadth of service that we offer is far wider than what many financial advisors are offering. But one of the things that I hear from so many clients, people certainly in their 60s and their 50s and 70s, and that's generally clients, 50s to 50 and older is our niche. People will come to us and they say, you know, Mark, I'm a couple years away from retirement, or I'm in retirement, approaching it. I've had a relationship with a couple investment guys. My brother-in-law sold me insurance. I've got an annuity here. I've got a 401k with work. I've got this here, bank accounts here, whatever. And they come to see me. And my first question is, well, if you have all of these relationships with all of these different advisors, why'd you come to see us? And he says, you know, I came to the conclusion as I approach retirement that it was fun working with all these people. This person did this transaction and tried to get me this, but none of them ever understood my whole situation. Frankly, they never even asked. And I understand, Mark, you're the one that takes this seriously. These people were the fun guys for a while. I was having fun. I was trading stocks. I was doing this, doing that, trying to beat this. But now it's time to take it seriously because you know what? When I retire, my paycheck's going to stop. And now I need to rely on maybe it's Social Security and perhaps, if you're lucky, have a pension, but I've got to rely on the other resources that I've accumulated to replace my paycheck. And I know you have the skill set, the guidance, the tools to help me make those smart decisions. Because one of those big decisions that people make is having to say, okay, I got all these accounts. Where's the smartest place to take money? I don't want to pay much in the way of taxes. I want to be smart about it. And we have a really nice piece of software. It's a tax planning piece of software that we use that runs a pro forma year after year after year after year to help us understand where's the smartest place to take money so that we don't trigger higher taxes.
That all makes a ton of sense. Hey, one thing I did see on your website is Forbes best in state wealth
Yeah.
advisors. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's something, it's the Forbes Best in State Wealth Advisor. We've been named for it. I think it's like 12 or 14 years in a row. It's been a long time that we've been doing this, but um, it's one of those things that you don't pay for. You have to earn this one. You fill out a questionnaire. They come and interview you. They do all this stuff. I always find it funny when you're used to fly in an airplane, and remember they used to have the I think it was called the Sky Team or the Sky something magazines, right?
Yeah, Sky
And
Mall,
you
I think.
Sky Mall, thank you. Yeah, and you'd open up the magazine and you'd see the top 10 doctors in Boston, or the top 50 restaurants, or the top best chiropractors or financial advisors. And I'm looking, they used to have these top 10 financial advisors lists. And I'd look at these people in Massachusetts. I'm going, I've been doing this for a long time. And I've been involved with the national boards of the Financial Planning Association, been very well connected in our circles. And I don't know any of these people. So I called these best in places and that were running these things. And I was asking, how does one get selected to be on that list? Well, you generally don't get selected. You get solicited by a salesperson.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to pay a certain amount of money, you can get listed as a best in whatever, doctor, etc. And the Forbes is one of the very few ranking systems that does it exclusively on an interview system. They take scrutiny of looking at our books, looking at everything that we do to make sure that we comply and meet the regulations and appropriatenesses of their systems.
Well, congratulations on that. That
Thank you.
that makes it even more powerful. I'll end with this question,
Yeah,
and that
sure.
is kind of what's the process? Like for one thing, I bet some people are nervous about like if I have that first conversation, I'm going to feel locked in or whatever. What's the process of like starting to have a conversation with you?
Yeah, and it's funny. We have a process, and that process is explained on our website, but I will explain it to you. First of all, every person that we meet, there is no cost for you to come in, spend an hour with us. But the process is explained up front as well. We want to be your financial planner first. So if you're just looking for a transactional relationship, you're just looking for someone, an investment to buy or something like that, we're not a good fit for you. We are going to start with understanding where everything is and what everything is worth first. We'll send you a kit either via in the mail or you can download it through our website. And what it will do, it says, here's how to prepare for your initial meeting. There is no cost, but we want you to come prepared. Bring us a copy of your tax return, investment statements, pay stubs, um, all sorts of things that you can bring. Now, you can bring all of it, you can bring none of it, you can bring some of it. And we're going to kind of talk through to understand what your goals and objectives are, but do that within the context of understanding your overall financial situation. If you say, hey, this might be something that's of interest to us. We charge $3,000 to do a financial plan. You pay $1,500 upfront. The balance of the plan is due after we've presented the plan to you. But when we do this plan, it's never what you tell us. We need to have the documentation. I need to have a copy of your estate planning documents, your investment accounts, your social security statement. We got a whole long list, and it's on my page there. Now, for those people who say after the financial plan is done, they say, Marc, no one's ever looked at our situation like this. Someone finally understands the big picture. If there is money that we have the opportunity to manage for you, we will waive the second half of your financial planning fee. We will place assets under our management, and then we will charge a fee to manage those assets, which will also include continued financial planning services all along the way. It's a reason, and the way we do this and the success of it has been such that we have had a 99% retention rate of clients for 20 continuous years.
Wow, that is fantastic and a great note to end on. I think, listen, from where we started less than 20 minutes ago, anyone watching this knows a heck of a lot more about Friedman Financial and how you can help, and that's what I was looking to do here. So, thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it, Mark.
Joe, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Take care.